Hey, so I just got home from the grocery store and I was unpacking some stuff. And on my walk home, I was thinking about Brandy and buying Brandy. And I was recalling the rare moments when I've been at a party and someone has brought Brandy. So I wanted to give my advice, maybe it's good or maybe it's bad, um, on what to buy if you're not a brandy drinker and you don't know brandies, but you want to try some, or maybe you want to bring brandy to a party or something. So as I'm unpacking my groceries here, I'm going to ramble a little bit. So I find, in general, flavored brandies are really, really good. And I'm looking up on the shelf. I have all the bottles that I've reviewed so far. I find that a flavored brandy is awesome. And I'm looking at Mr. Boston's Blackberry, Christian Brothers Honey, Mr. Boston's Coffee. There's a Hiram Walker's Coffee, Allen's Apricot. If you want something, tend to be on the more sweeter side. If you want something that isn't going to break the bank, flavored brandies. Hey there, so I just got home from the grocery store. I was doing some unpacking, and while I was coming home, I was thinking about brandy and what to buy if, let's say, you're going to a party or something, or going to have a party, and you want some brandy. It's something fun, an after dinner drink. What to buy? You're not a brandy connoisseur, you don't know one from the other. What should you buy? So here are some of my off the cuff feelings on where to gravitate to, some things to look for. So first of all, flavored brandy. I would go with a flavored brandy. And I'm looking at my shelf right now. You see the brandies that I've taste tested so far. I find that when I have a flavored brandy, like Mr. Boston's Blackberry or Christian Brothers Honey, I tend to immediately like it, and I think people who don't drink brandy are going to prefer that versus like a VSOP or a VSQ or something. I think a flavored brandy is a safe option. Most of us like flavored things anyways, so you're going to be safe. I highly recommend the Christian Brothers Honey Brandy, the one way over here, which I reviewed a very long time ago. Honey may not seem like the number one thing you're going to think of, but that's a good choice. A coffee flavored brandy is the traditional. I don't think you can go wrong with that. I would avoid odd flavors, for example. I have one on the shelf here. This is ginger flavored. Now, this isn't a bad brandy, but ginger, it's not for everybody. Go for something that's coffee, apple, a peach, blackberry, something like that. You're going to be safe, I think, with most people. I do not recommend going with a VSOP or a VSOP, sorry, or a VS, whatever it is, or something that isn't flavored. I'm just seeing here what else I have. Because I find that when I have a non-flavored brandy, that's when I tend to be getting flavors that are like, oh, okay, this is really good, or this is really bad, or this isn't doing it for me. It tends to be the stronger brandy. It tends to be the one that kind of puts me off a little bit. And I really think if you don't know brandies and you're going for something that's not flavored and you don't know what you're buying, you're more likely to buy something you may not like. There are brandies that are excellent, like Presidente. You can't go wrong with this. This is a non-flavored, straightforward brandy from Mexico. But if you don't know that and you're just walking in the store, oops, there goes the top. I think you want to play it safe. Go for something fruity, flavorful, whatever. Here's a nice apple brandy. Do something like that. you'll be fine. And most people who are drinking it will enjoy it. I think you're taking a risk otherwise. So, flavored. The second thing I'm going to say is keep it cheap. You see a bottle that says $38 on it? I'm not going to do that. Personally, I hesitate a little bit, but I wouldn't do that for a party if you don't know what you're getting. Also, I think that there are some really nice brandies in the $10 to $15 range. Absolutely excellent brandies in the $10 to $15 range. Christian Brothers around here is like $12. You really can't go wrong with that. When you get below, I find that, so if you're spending $8 on a bottle of brandy, it may be flavored, but it's not going to be as good as, let's say, a flavored brandy, $2 to $3 more. And when I say not as good, I mean there's at least one brandy up on my shelf here that I took a few sips of, and I didn't want to drink the rest of the bottle. You've just wasted $8 if that's the case. There's also a few up here where I've had that, and I wanted to just have the whole bottle right now because it was so good. So that was a $12 bottle. Go for something, $10 to $15. You're going to be fine. You're not going to break the bank, and you're going to like it, and you're not going to embarrass yourself. So good flavors, $10 to $15. I would also recommend avoid anything that looks cheap. Avoid anything that looks like they didn't give it any planning. Let me see if we can go up here on the shelf. You see the array of covers. Allen's has a very cheap looking cover. That's a brandy I do not recommend. It is cheap, it doesn't taste good, and it is cheap. I would avoid that. The other thing I would do is avoid cognac. The difference between cognac and brandy is like this. One is made in France, one is not. You actually can make brandy in France that is not cognac, but you can't make cognac anywhere but in France. It's all about the process of creation and following certain regulations and rules or traditions or whatever that make it cognac. Around here in Maine, cognac is quadruple the price. I've seen bottles of cognac for $80. It's not worth it. Yes, you may impress people. Hey, I just got this $80 bottle of cognac and we're going to do this. But you know what? If you don't know what brandy is and you're not really familiar with brandy and you're not a brandy drinker, you're not... if someone came up to me and said they have a $80 bottle of whiskey, and I know nothing about whiskey, I actually don't even like whiskey, I'm not impressed by that. And I'm just like, well, okay, so you just spent $80 on something that means nothing to me. So if you're trying to impress people by buying a foreign bottle of cognac, and it's with people who know nothing about cognac, get a hobby. Seriously, like... That's not... Don't waste your time impressing people. Impress people with something that tastes good, you didn't spend a lot of money for, and you can brag about, hey, I bought this $12 brandy, and this is awesome stuff. That's going to impress people more than spending $80 on something that folks are like, nah, whatever, we don't know. So don't buy cognac. Spend $12 to $15. Go for flavored. Is there anything else I would do when it comes to brandy? Gosh, I think those are really the... Oh, and don't get a wild flavor. That, like, hey, it's spearmint gum flavored brandy. Don't go for something crazy. That's my suggestions, long-winded, on what to do if you want to buy brandy for a party or something and you just don't know what to buy. Or you could watch a video like mine and watch all the videos and whatever, but that's still not worth it. And as for brandy connoisseurs, if you have taste buds that are highly in-depth to the world of brandy, and that's a whole different video for you. That's not what I'm here looking for people who don't know anything and starting from scratch and just want to enjoy this drink and maybe make a comeback. look, you're going to impress people anyways by buying brandy because no one else gets brandy for a party. So already you're doing good. So yeah, there you go. Drink safely, whatever you're drinking, whatever it is. Drink modestly, drink safely, be safe, and enjoy.